Child's Play. How ridiculous. A talking doll. Let's get into it. Child's Play is from 1988. It lasts 1 hour 28 minutes. And it's weird. It's a bit weird. The movie opens in New York City. Late at night, there's a police chase. A lone detective, Mike Norris, is chasing two bad guys in city streets. Yeah, one of them is called Eddie, and Eddie gets in a car or a van or something, and he just runs off, and he just drives away, leaving his partner behind. No honour among thieves. But the partner who's been left behind is notorious serial killer Charles Lee Ray. Oh. And Charles Lee Ray is the Lakeshore Strangler. Huh. So he gets cornered, right, and he gets into a gunfight with Detective Norris. And Detective Norris is like, dang dang. And Charles Lee Ray's like, dang dang. Yeah, we know how a gunfight goes. Anyway, Charles Lee Ray is mortally wounded.
Good.
He breaks into the first shop he comes to, which happens to be a toy store. He takes refuge in there, and he goes and collapses beside a stack of the newest must-have toy for this year. Yeah, it's these things called good guy dolls. And it's like Cabbage Patch Kids or something. Yeah, kind of, yeah. They're these ginger-haired, round-faced, childlike, talking toy dolls. And Charles Lee Ray, right, he recites this voodoo chant. And he says, give me the tower I beg of you. And there's a big lightning storm. And then by the time Detective Norris catches up to him, he's dead. But what Detective Norris doesn't know, because how could you, is that Charles Lee Ray has put his spirit into one of these good guy dolls. Crazy. Now obviously this movie is a horror. Yeah, but check out the Amazon Prime description of this movie. How detailed. Winning. Not a winning. That's the worst description I've ever seen for a movie. So we cut to the next morning and we see a young boy called Andy. Yeah, it's Andy's 6th birthday and he's making breakfast in bed for his nun because he wants her to get up. He's like, come on nun, it's 6 a.m. Get to bed. He's very excited. While he's making breakfast, he's watching his favourite TV show, Good Guys. Yeah, and it's a cartoon of these good guy dolls, and they're all like, I'll be your best friend, etc.
Hey, cheer up! Who are you? I'm a good guy. I've just come from the Good Guy Clubhouse, and I'll be your friend to the end.
And then we cut to a commercial for Good Guys, yeah. And this is the scariest part of the movie. This life-size good guy doll talking to you, it's hideous. It's just an advert, this is true horror. But Andy's eyes are going between the TV and his presents which are on the nearby sofa. Yeah, and one of them is a massive box. It looks exactly the right size and shape to be a good guy doll, which is what he really wants. So eventually his nun gets out of bed. Yeah, he takes her like the worst breakfast in bed. He's only 6, right, okay. Today, right, okay, fair enough. But he takes her this breakfast in bed and she says, well, maybe I'll eat that later. She won't. But she gets up and they go to unwrap Andy's presents. He opens the big giant box first. He can't wait. He opens it. And guess what? It is. It's a pair of jeans. Inside this massive box, it's a pair of jeans. His mum, Karen, says, you really need these clothes. I think they'll fit just right. Why put them in a giant box like that? It's one pair of jeans, even if there's like a couple of t-shirts and stuff. Still, why in that giant box? That's just cruel. So Karen Barclay, Andy's mum, we see her at work later that day. She's there with her friend Maggie, and Maggie says there's someone in the alley who's selling a good guy doll. Yeah. We go to see this homeless guy who happens to have a good guy doll. He sells it for $30. Then she returns to work and her boss is there saying, why did you abandon your station? And there's a bit of back and forth. Yeah, Naggie's a bit knifey. Good for her. Yeah, because this guy, he's a dick.
A massive dick.
He basically says, Karen, you're going to have to work tonight. Someone's phoned in sick, so you're going to have to work. Karen says, but it's my son's birthday. He says, well, you can have 1 hour off to go and collect him from school, and then I want you back here. Yeah, thanks.
How kind.
Strike! So Maggie says she'll babysit tonight. Karen goes and picks up Andy from school, and she gives him his late birthday present, guy doll. Yeah, all these good guy dolls have got different names. So they're like, hi, I'm Ducky. I'll be your best friend. Hi, I'm Kevin. I'll be your friend. So Andy opens the box and opens his good guy doll. He's so excited and he says, hi, I'm Andy. And the good guy doll says, hi, I'm Chucky, your friend to the end.
What's your name? Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho.
Later that night, while Karen's back at work and Maggie is babysitting Andy, Andy and Chucky are in front of the TV when Maggie says, right guys, it's bedtime. And Andy says, but Chucky wants to watch the news. Yeah, and it's actually the news of Charles Lee Ray's death and what happened to his old mate Eddie. But Maggie sends him to bed. And then Maggie hears another sound in the apartment. She goes to investigate and she finds a bag of flour has been knocked onto the floor. Yeah, she sort of sighs because she's like, oh, I thought it was a burglar or something. She turns round and a hammer is thrown into her face. She's hit in the eye by a hammer. This sends her stumbling back. Yeah, this must be some heavy hammer because it sends her stumbling back right over the worktop, right out of the window of the apartment, down 10 stories to her death. But then we later find out the hammer is one of Andy's toy hammers that come with the good guy's construction set or something. It's a little plastic toy. Yeah. How did that force her out a window? By the time Karen returns home, there are a bunch of cops in her apartment. Yeah, just chilling. They're sitting on the couch with their feet up, reading newspaper, having a great old time.
It's been a long day.
Detective Mike Norris is there, so she meets him and he says, with zero sympathy, zero empathy, zero care for anyone's feelings, your friend Maggie is dead. We pretty quickly learn that Detective Norris thinks that Andy is responsible for this.
Is he guilty? He's crazy guilty.
He thinks a 6-year-old boy killed Maggie. Partly because there are little good guy trainer footprints in the flour, but Andy's trainers seem to be clean. That Chucky's aren't. Ha 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 ha. Detective Norris leaves. Once again, Andy immediately tells on Chucky. He says, Chucky did it, I didn't do it. And Karen has to say, Andy, you know, he's not real. He's a doll. He's a toy.
It's not real.
Talking dolls. So the next morning, Andy is dropped off for school. Karen watches him go in with Chucky. How is he allowed to take Chucky to school? I don't know, but there are a few kids who have got good guy dolls. Yeah, including one kid who looks a little bit too old. Maybe they're just tall. As soon as Karen leaves though, Andy and Chucky just walk out of school. Yeah, no one starts and no one seems to... No one cares. And they get on the train with Hot Nanny, I don't know, but they travel across the city, he's 6, and they go to the bad part of town. It's New York. Okay, they go to the bad part of this part of New York. Okay. They end up in what's almost a bit of wasteland. There's one little house standing, and there's a garbage dump. Yeah, so Andy says, listen Chucky, I need to go and tea. So I'm just going to sit you here by this garbage dump. And then he goes off and has little tea. When he comes back, Chucky's not there.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Because Chucky is a good guy doll and it's no sought after toy this year. Why would you leave it by a dump? Somebody's just going to take it. Normally that is what would happen. But what's actually happened in this instance is that Chucky has gotten up and walked into the nearby house because they were passing Eddie's house. Yeah, Chucky's old partner. So Chucky goes in the house and starts making noise. Eddie hears a noise in his apartment. Eddie hears a noise in this house and just instantly opens fire. Why? I don't know, he's very jittery. You must be, it could be the first man. It could be. Anyway, Chucky runs around the room making noises, and then eventually goes into the kitchen, turns on the gas of the stove, and then runs out the house, and Eddie bursts into the kitchen and just shoots at the oven for some reason, blowing up the whole house. Just missing Andy, by the way. He goes back, he finds Chucky, and then we cut to Karen picking up Andy and Chucky from the police station. We find them in the dead part of town, near a blown up building. Your son's crazy. That's basically the gist. Detective Mike Knox is there. There's a police psychiatrist who says, I think Andy should stay with us for a few days in the psychiatric wing.
Yes, I think that's probably wise.
So Karen returns home and she drags Chucky with her. When she gets home, she says to Chucky, okay, can you talk? Talk to me. And Chucky says, I like to be hugged. Karen has a little chuckle to herself at her own paranoia. She puts Chucky down and then she goes to look at the box Chucky came in. And when she picks up the box, right, batteries fall out. She goes and checks Chucky, he's got no batteries in him. So how's he talking?
Magic.
She's figured it out. She picks him up and she starts to shake him and says, talk, I know you can talk. My son's not crazy, talk to me. Chucky won't do it, but eventually she holds him to the fire. That extreme. And says, talk or I'll burn you. So he talks, he starts calling her he starts swearing at her, and then he starts beating her up. And he's a doll. He's like 2 foot tall. Throw him. Smash his head against the wall. Chuck him on the fire. She does none of those things. She drops him and he runs off out of the apartment and onto the city streets.
Maybe no one will notice.
After Chucky, she bumps into Detective Norris and she says, I'm going to find the guy who sold me this doll. So she finds a vendor eventually. He is there with a load of other scallywags. And he says, what's the information worth to you? She says, well, I don't have much money, but you can have what I've got. He says, we don't want your money, lady. Uh-oh. But then luckily, Detective Knox has followed her. He turns up, beats up the guy and says, where did you get the doll? And the guy says, at the burned out toy store on whatever street it is. Detective Knox takes Karen home, tells her to forget about all this craziness, about talking dolls and stuff. And then on his way home, Chucky's in the backseat of this car and tries to strangle him. Because he's the one who shot him, you see. Tries to strangle him, but Charles Lee Ray... But Knox gets a cigarette lighter from his car, burns Chucky's face, and then Chucky appears under his driver's seat with a knife. He's a terrible knifeman. He misses every time. He tries to stab Knox about 20 times. Through the seat, through the back of the seat, under the seat. And he misses every time. And one time the car flips over and Knox is pinned there. And Chucky goes to stab him in the head. And still misses. Anyway, Knox gets his gun out and shoots Chucky, and Chucky runs off. And then Chucky realises he's bleeding human blood. Weird, and he's a doll. So the next day, Karen and Mike decide to go to Charles Lee Ray's old house to look for clues. And it's such a weird place. It's a place that's got like human legs for tails. I mean, not real human, they just look like human legs. And weird art on the wall, and an inscription, thank you Damballa for life after death. This guy's a right weirdo. I bet he's got a t-shirt that's got like a wolf howling at the moon. Knox tells Karen about one of Charles Lee Ray's associates, Dr. Death. So they say, let's go see this guy. He's a voodoo practitioner. But by the time they get there, they're too late because Chucky's already been there and stabbed him. Chucky tortured Dr. Death. He said, the spell works. I'm not dead, but I'm stuck in the body of this doll. Why am I bleeding blood? And Dr. Death says, well, you're becoming human. The longer you spend in that doll, the more human you'll become on the inside. But you'll just live out your life as a doll. Unless you can transfer your soul into the body of the first person you revealed yourself to.
Andy?
So Chucky is like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a 6-year-old boy. This is going to be great. I'm getting to start life over again with all the knowledge. and criminal hate I have in my heart. Karen and Mike find Dr. Death as he's about to die, but he says the only way to destroy Chucky is to destroy his heart. It's becoming human. So take the heart out and you'll take out Chucky. Yeah. We see Chucky. He has decided to go to the psychiatric hospital to get Andy. Yeah, Andy sees him coming and he's like, help, help, Chucky's coming. The doctor comes along and the doctor does not believe him. The doctor takes Andy out the cell and he's like, right, time to sedate you. Takes her into the operating theatre for some reason and he's going to sedate him. And then Chucky appears. Chucky takes the scalpel and slices the doctor's leg. Then he takes the instruments used for electric shock therapy and fries the doctor's brain until he's dead. He probably should have let Andy get sedated first. Yeah, it would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. Mike and Karen also go to the psychiatric hospital to find Andy, but they find he's escaped, or they think he's escaped. They speak to a dirty child in the hall. Yeah, and he's like, what is this psychiatric hospital? Does it send you back to the 18th century? I don't know, it's a bit strange. But Karen says, I've always told Andy if he's ever in trouble, go back home. So I bet that's where he's gone. Yeah, he's navigated the city at 6 years old. And he's got his way back home. He goes and hides in his closet. In his closet, there's a cool playhouse. Yeah, there's a Muppet Babies playhouse, which I still want. But he finds a baseball bat in there and he thinks, right, I'll take out Chucky with this. So he lies in wait, and Chucky does come into the apartment. Andy jumps out of the baseball bat, swings, and totally misses, and then just drops the baseball bat and runs away. So, this kid. I'll say something about this kid though. He's a pretty good actor. He's got me convinced he's scared. He's got me convinced he thinks Chucky's real. Maybe he did in real life. No, he didn't. But Andy runs through the apartment, tries to hide in his mum's bedroom, and then Chucky jumps up behind him with the baseball bat and smacks him over the head. Karen and Mike eventually appear. I mean, they've driven. I don't know how it's taken them so long. Yeah, they took their time. Anyway, they get here just as Chucky is finishing up his voodoo spell. Yeah. Did they interrupt it? Luckily. There's a bit of a fight. Chucky bites Karen and slashes at Mike with his knife. Yet, Mike falls to the ground. But then he says to Karen, you and Andy stay in this bedroom. Here's a gun. I'm going to go and find this little guy. So he takes his gun and he stalks the apartment looking for Chucky, who has run off. Once again, Chucky just uses the baseball bat, knocks Mike down to the ground. Karen appears though with her gun and she shoots Chucky's arm off. And she shoots Chucky in the leg. That's right. And then there's a bit of a wrestling match between Karen and Chucky. She manages to get Chucky into the fireplace, which she should have done ages ago. She sits by the fire guard holding him in, but she can't reach the matches. Andy could reach the matches, but he just stands in the matches for such a long time. Eventually he goes over, gets the matches, lights one, and Chucky looks up at him and says,
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
and that's the end. It's not. Karen and Andy leave the burning body of Chucky. They go into the room to check on Mike. He's alright, he's fine. Karen says to Andy, go to the bathroom and get the first aid kit. We need to patch up Mike's cut. Yeah, so Andy does. And on the way, he sees Chucky's gone. He's not in the fire anymore. And Chucky appears with a knife and corners Andy. Andy manages to slip away and he gets back to the bedroom with his mum and Detective Norris. And Chucky's all black and burned at this point. Yeah. And then Chucky comes into the room and he chases Karen and Andy with a knife. And then Karen, Detective Knox just watches this. That's right, but then Karen takes her gun and she shoots his head off. What's he gonna do now? He can't do anything, just kick him. Yeah, but they still keep running away from him. He's dragging himself along the floor with just a torso, one arm and one leg. Good luck, Chuck. Stick it back in the fire. Yeah, they should. But Karen shoots the thing in the chest and it seems like that's the end. Finally. But then Knox's partner comes in, another cop, And instantly Karen points a gun at him. Yeah, he's a cut. It's a good job he didn't just draw and shoot her. Yeah, it was lucky. Anyway, he asks what happened. Knox tells him the doll's alive, but I think we've killed it. Go and check on it. Don't touch anything. Yeah, so he completely ignores that. Comes back in the room, holding Chucky's head, sticks it on top of the TV in the bedroom, and all three of them are looking at him like, what did they just say? He's hanging by the wall, looking at the head like, what, you guys are crazy thinking this thing was alive. And suddenly, the body of Chucky bursts through the air vent. He starts choking the guy. But luckily, Nick Knox actually does something this time. Takes his gun and he shoots Chucky right through the heart. And there's human blood. Yeah. And Chucky is dead. Yeah. And the head says, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" Because that's him dying. That's right. Knox, Karen, Andy, and Knox's partner all leave the bedroom. And just as they're leaving, Andy hangs back. He looks through the crack in the door. And it's a freeze frame. And that's the end. What do you think of Child's Play? Absolute madness. That I loved every minute. Did you? Yeah, I like it. I watched it when I was too young, but I really enjoyed it back then. Now, it's still fun. It's great. It's good. It's great. Hit like, hit subscribe. Watch another video. Hi, I'm Ned. Wanna play?